TV!
Oh, yeah.
That's a spicy little jam there, Mr. Pete.
Sorry. Yeah, it's good, man.
This is evolution/revolution of the Epiphone kind of range. In fact, to be honest with you, the whole approach I think that Gibson are taking to the challenge now of this, the fact that making guitars in America is just so much more expensive than it ever has been before. And this idea of £1,000 to £1,500 price point that I think we've all got used to over the last 15, 20 years, being able to get that sort of entry-level American kind of product in,
we were talking
whether
about
it's
that earlier.
a Les Paul Studio or a Fender American Strat, whatever like that. It's just so hard now for brands like Gibson and Fender and Paul Reed Smith and stuff to make guitars in America to hit those price points. The only way they can do it is to shave so much off the product that you end up going, I'm not sure it's a very nice guitar anymore. So I am loving Gibson have just they've just embraced it, haven't they? They've just gone, let's make a kick-ass Epiphone guitar.
For you Americans out there.
Kick-ass!
Kick-ass!
Epiphone guitar, and unashamedly hit that price point. And we've seen glimpses of this in the past with the stuff that they were doing on some of those sort of VOS 59 Les Pauls.
Right.
That maybe, I think I might even be going back to that last NAMM show before COVID.
They're pushing the boat out and they're pushing out a bit further.
This is finally every single element of this.
That you asked for.
Well, we all did.
Well, you remember?
Yeah.
You said, why don't you do that and why don't you do this? And they're doing it, man. You know.
So to get the detailed specs on all these guitars, links below, hit the website. You can find out all the different woods and the scale lengths and all that kind of stuff. But pretty much everything I'm going to tell you applies to all these guitars. So we're now this is a collaboration between the Gibson Custom Shop and Epiphone. So that's a first. Proper Gibson headstock. None of this like, let's use a slightly longer Epiphone
And on the back here it says, please like and subscribe because we're very close to 1 million subscribers and you can win a million. Anyway, whatever.
We've got now rosewood fretboards. None of that.
No
Laurel or Hardy. We've got Gibson USA
right now,
custom buckers on these, and we'll go through what's on the Firebird in a minute, but like essentially sort of the mini humbucker versions of those. Obviously, we've got all of the right woods that you would expect to have on any good Gibson guitar, so lots of nice mahoganies and maples and things like that. All the electronics.
Like Germany?
Yeah.
Like that?
All the same electronics that you'd find on USA models, so
the Bumblebee,
orange drop caps and all that kind of stuff. And what I'm really loving, which I've not seen before, normally on Epiphone guitars, you'd either get that very high gloss kind of typical polyurethane kind of slightly sticky finish that you'd find that on most Asian-made guitars like that.
Right.
Predecessor models to these, they were describing it as their kind of VOS style finish, almost overly satin finish. It was a very flat satin looking finish. Now we've got this kind of, again, it's not a nitro finish. I think you've got to accept you're not going to get nitro on mass produced guitars at this kind of price point.
But what you are going to get is really cool cases. They're super cool cases. We'll put them on screen now.
I'd love to see one. But yeah, and I'm really interested in your opinion, Mr. Pete, because this finish it seems to me to have overcome the sort of the slightly sticky artificial vibe of a full, thick, gloopy polyurethane finish. But it's still got some gloss. It feels real.
Do you know what I mean? And it doesn't feel like it's the satin thing that we're going for before.
Where do you want to start then?
Whatever, man. I mean, all the guitars are great. I think they nailed it. I think this one is probably. When I saw Aljon post these guitars saying, he's been there for, long 20 years?
He is Mr. Epiphone, basically.
Yes, yeah. And I saw this and I was like, my goodness me, that is just epic. I love it. I love that they've done the real headstocks.
Yeah.
And they're making solid whole, what is it called? The bodies are not, in the old like SGs where they had this layer on the top of it and it looked a little bit sort of cheap. But none of that stuff anymore. They really pushed the boat out. I mean,
Pete is talking about on here. You could see where the veneer was put on the top of the guitar.
Yeah, and
obviously
it looked
these
a little
are all
bit
now
sort
just
of
solid mahogany.
I mean, these are made in China.
Absolutely.
We have to address that at the moment, whether we like it or not. But I'm just saying that that is there's a reality we have to face.
I think where you've got a brand like Epiphone, who I believe own their own factories in China.
Yeah.
There's way too much money and investment gone into making those factories to just go, I'll tell you, we'll just make it in Malaysia then tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's like you've got years of people being trained how to make these guitars. You can't just
I would assume that they've worked. Like Aljon and the team at Epiphone has worked on these guitars for years.
Yep. Anyway, 1957 is the first reissue that we have here.
Am I playing or are you playing?
No, you play.
57 didn't have the redness going on, so that only came in later on. So this is a 60. That's a 59. And there's different colors in these. We've got you can go on the website and have a look. But they nailed that, man. It looks great, doesn't it? What is it, 1,100 quid?
How are you supposed to know anymore?
Like a grand.
Les Paul Special is a grand, and then the dearest one is the Firebird at 1,500, and everything else is in between.
Yeah.
Go
and that's
check
the prices
out
now, isn't it? So that's where we are. So
looks like a Les Paul, sounds like a Les Paul, feels like a Les Paul. It's
a Les Paul. I mean, I'm going into the the new lunchbox head.
Oh yeah.
Please buy now.
Absolutely. You can save yourself a little bit of money if you don't mind not having the wooden sleeve around it. There it is, wood. Over Pete's shoulders.
And I'll tell you what, it was, we'll talk about that in another video, but I've just discovered a 57 Tom Murphy that turned up, True Historic, 2015.
Is that a 57 as well? So your latest Les Paul purchase is basically a Murphy version of that?
Yeah, and when I compared that to my 58 Tom Murphy also, there's so much more output in the pickups, which because I had a gold top, the one I sprayed in the video, and I sprayed and I cracked the lacquer.
That was like a relatively affordable.
No, that was one of the classics.
That's right, but that was affordable within the American range.
Yeah, but it was still it was 94. So that's how old it was, And I tried to crack the lacquer because I wanted it to be like a Murphy lab thing, but that was very different with the pickups, uncovered. There is something with the 57 pickup. You can test. Taylor was playing that this morning, and the amp, it pushes the amp so much more.
It's so good to see Rosewood back, man.
I know.
That slightly paler, slightly more. I mean, look, tonally speaking, and long lifeness or whatever the word is. I don't think there's anything really wrong with Laurel. It's just me. I'm so used to seeing a dark brown wood.
It looks great. Let's put a Dane on. Wow. Are these American pickups in here?
Yeah, I mean, again, one-piece neck and one-piece body now on the Les Pauls.
One piece?
Yeah.
No.
Mahogany neck with a two-piece body on the SGs.
Okay.
They've got this vintage finish, which we talked about.
Yeah.
I just think it's just superb. I do want to see the case, so I'll show it to you before the end of this video, because I haven't seen it myself yet. Mother of pearl inlays, no plastic or anything like that. It's all just, it's the good long 10-on neck design.
Really?
Taken directly from the custom shop.
Why would we buy a custom shop then, apart from the Nitro?
Well, I mean, people will always want the G
on the
they want
a G.
But I just think it's
G-spot.
I just think it's clever. I've been an advocate of this idea of
this whole thing.
I'd rather have an amazing Asian-made guitar in the sort of £1,000 to £1,500 than a sense of just like oh God, we've really had to cut all the corners on this to hit a price point by making it in England or in the US.
I
or whatever.
agree, man. Anyway, let's just before we go here.
Not a lot of people know that actually Les Paul himself used to write a lot of music like that. He was really into his drop D, genty sort of stuff.
What's the next one?
For reasons I'm not aware of, Gibson, please comment below. We skip 58, which would have been historically the first year of the burst, but of course wouldn't have had necessarily a flame top on it.
It's not as popular though, is it? Everybody wants a 59, right?
Well, 59 had the flame tops on them, which I guess is what they're most known for, but also perhaps a slightly thinner neck, which perhaps a lot of players. Do you know what? You can feel that 57 is a little chunkier than the neck on that 59.
Once you go 59, you'll never go.
And there are two colours in the 59. So the 59 is in deep cherry sunburst and washed bourbon burst, and then the 60 is in iced tea burst and washed cherry burst. So that's got to be iced tea.
Iced tea. And this is the 60s. You can see because it's got the silver top hats on there.
And that also is two different colours. In fact, play the two of those back to back.
Back to back.
So that we can go, is there any other difference really?
You know, Back to Back was a Danish band.
Was it?
Yeah, they called Back to Back.
Were they an AC/DC covers band?
No, they played like pop music.
Fair enough.
Like a couple of young kids. Anyway, let's play these two back to back. Oh. I'm going to play what Lee plays. E minor, D with F sharp, and lots of low end in that, isn't there? For the money, man, these are really difficult to beat for the money, to be honest, now, when they look like this and they got that. This is not satin, because the 59s and the other ones that we did, we've got one over here somewhere. This is a little bit more shiny.
Do you know I'm going to say this as well? And I think Fender eliminated the competition of, like, there was a lot of people going back 10, 20 years making Strat and Tele copies. And I kind of think Fender just went, you know what, we're going to own that by making the best. If you want a Strat or a Tele, we're just going to make the best one.
Yeah.
All through the range, Squire, Mexico, whatever.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel with Epiphone, and you guys will know there's other brands that obviously make Gibson style guitars.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel this is Epiphone's moment of going, no, we're just going to be the best Les Paul copy. I don't want to throw shade on those other brands, but you'll know what I'm talking about.
But you get a Fender Strat, right? And then you get a Squire Strat, and it has got the same headstock, it's got the same body shape, it's got the same pickup configuration, but it says Squire on headstock.
Yeah.
And that's the same with this, and that's what you and Rob said in videos the last 10 years, and you've gone, why don't you just make a Gibson headstock and put Epiphone on it?
Yeah. Do you know what the next thing is? Why don't you even just put Gibson on it? Be like PRS SE, it'd just be Gibson. And
SE.
Underneath where it says Les Paul, it'll just say, SE or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that looks superb. Sorry, keep.
Yeah, sorry.
Does it sound or feel different?
It's got a slightly thinner neck, which you would expect from a 60s. I prefer the 59, I prefer 58, whatever.
The famous 60 is Eric Clapton's Beano Les Paul, isn't it? That was a 1960.
Let's see if there's any difference between these when I just go those three chords.
Pokier.
That's much pokier.
Yeah.
And let's try that one, just really quick, because this is what I didn't expect from the 57, but I remembered from my Gold Top back in the day that this is much more pokey. Let's see if it's true. Maybe not, maybe not, maybe not. I've tuned it, of course, but they're quite heavy, these, aren't they?
As they should be.
As they should.
Weight relief is like wimps.
Yeah.
And like people with back problems like me.
See, that's thicker.
Yeah, but that sounds like it's driving the amp more than that. This is where we find out in the spec they've all got the same pickups. Then it must be the wood.
You can. Oh no! The wood ghost is coming back to haunt us all.
That's the most output, I think, that one.
It's louder.
I think it might be acoustically loudest, maybe. But that's probably just one of those freak of nature.
Yeah, but that's brighter, right?
That's got the most gain, the 60. I've just checked. So I bet they have all got... do you know what? Whatever. If they've all got the same pickups, then so be it.
But that just goes to show
if they all sound the same.
No, but if they all have got the same pickups, the wood is the difference.
Yeah, you might be talking the way the heights of the pickups are and the setups.
I don't know now, man. I go home,
I think
please?
You hit the strings harder. Anyway, look, whatever. So look, that takes you from 57 to 59 to 60. And you know, obviously they're all Les Pauls. 57 only in the gold top and the other two bursts. But this is also in 1960 was the double cut.
Which is one of my favourite Gibsons of all time. Yep. I mean, all the other ones.
So that would have been originally released as more of a student edition kind of guitar, trying to cut the price. So we don't have the arch top. There's no maple top. We've got two P90s, wraparound. So a simpler tailpiece. And that
reach around tailpiece.
Again, you can see simpler inlays, simpler tuners, all that kind of stuff. So that would have been, you know, aimed at a market that couldn't afford a full Les Paul. But of course, as what's beautiful over the last 70 odd years is different bands have made that iconic in a way that it's not, we don't necessarily see that now as an inferior guitar.
And can I just say, that's the inspiration for those tuners on that guitar. See, on those, I love these tuners.
1960, the classic would have been the TV yellow. It's probably the colour you see most artists having. Unbelievable. Really love that.
I think it's such a cool story.
Even I'm not old enough to really remember growing up with black and white TV. But of course, back in the day when, you know, you had the Ed Sullivan Show and all these super cool bands appearing for the first time, like those people like the Beatles that we've never heard of, because it was black, because the television was black and white. The studio lights would glare on a white guitar and like blow up the. Not literally blow up, but obviously, you know, of course, the cameramen problems capturing them. So they
overexposed.
That's the word, overexposed. So yeah, they created this color, which on black and white TV just made it look like a white guitar. How cool is that?
How cool is that?
But it's now got its own life as a super cool color.
And I love it because it's see-through and it's like just. I mean, this is just one of my favorite guitars of all time.
And it's light, right? If you compare it to it's like you haven't got that whole back-breaking Les Paul issue.
Man, I love a P90.
You know what?
Dude.
When you see, we were talking about Eric Krasno earlier on, and maybe that jam at the beginning being slightly crazzy.
Crazzy.
You look at his D'Angelico, that's that, isn't it?
That is, where he puts the, hang on, let me put lots of reverb on this is Flint.
He's a great player, by the way.
And he's a lovely guy, man.
And probably doesn't get enough attention. So Eric Krasno, go
Eric Krasno is
search for him on your favourite.
But it's just like... There's something about that 60s. I mean, he uses a real spring, but the P90. I just enjoy.
That's a lot of reverb.
That's a lot of reverb. I really enjoy listening to him play.
Is the neck kind of skinny like a 1960 Les Paul as well?
It's the same as that. It's the same as the 60s Les Paul.
That's what you want if you want like a compact, lightweight Gibson. And it's like, and I like the fact the P90s is a slightly lighter. Like everything lends itself to that kind of...
nothing else on Gibson could do. You know, you can't. You don't get any. Hang on. Oh, maybe you do with this, but we'll get this. A bit of gain. What do you want, Green Day? Is that Green Day, isn't it?
It is.
He says and plays no Green Day.
I heard a little rumour from another brand in the music industry that there's a very cool Dookie product coming this summer. But I can't say any more, otherwise I'll get shot and no one will tell me any secrets anymore.
Anyway, this is awesome. This is under $1,000.
Yes. What is...
And with a case.
Yes.
Beautiful.
What is next chronologically? Okay, so chronologically, next are the 335s. 335? Obviously, 335s did exist before 1962, but these are the 1962 reissues. So we've got...
I'll tell you what, can I have the sunburst? Because I love a sunburst.
Yeah, so you've got... What you saw changing on 335s in the early days were the ears, you know, like changed their sort of profile very slightly, and the inlays changed from dots to blocks. So they've obviously gone with the 62 version with the block inlays. I like that very much. That is a great sunburst. I like the way that the ears are completely black. That's got a real Mickey Mouse vibe to it. Look, you could literally, if you could sort of wear that on your head, you would be.
Oh, this is great.
I think these 335s are less than the Les Pauls. They're £100 less than the Les Pauls. Oh, good chord changes.
Oh, this is nice, man. I'm digging this thing.
Spoken like a true jazz cat.
Jazz cat. Now, this sounds good, man.
They always say, don't they, the 335 is, you know, the most versatile electric guitar ever made. It's a bold claim, but, you know, when someone like Larry Carlton or Robin Ford or one of those kind of players says it, you have to go, oh, maybe it is.
I kind of agree, but I kind of disagree, because I think the Telecaster is probably more...
Wow.
I'm just putting it out there.
Just putting it out there.
So all you need really is a Telecaster and a 335, and you're good to go. Let's put a bit of gain on. It sounds good, it feels lovely to play. I'm into it. You want to play some B.B. King?
You know what? You know, heads up. What, I don't even know what the right word.
It's got a little
Fair play. These aren't samples, like marketing samples we've been sent.
No,
these
are.
This is part of the first shipment that Anderton's got. They go through our QC department, so they give them a quick, you know, it looks okay to me, like that. Give it a bit of tune up. Bosh, there you go. Do a video. Anyway, right. So that's the 355. You've seen the two colours.
Yeah.
Next, chronologically, is it going to be an SG or a Firebird? Let's have a little look.
Oh, I'm interested. I can't remember that, but
it's going to be the Firebirds. So we've got a Firebird 1 and a Firebird 5. Both the same, both 1963.
Okay. You on that one?
Well, I played the red one at the beginning. The red one's pretty simple. That is the heaviest one of the lot. Firebirds. What a strange, whatever was in the water in the 1960s. Les Paul's 335s, you know, Strats Tellys, they're all beautiful. Then it all went a bit weird and someone went, let's do an Explorer, let's do a Flying V, let's do a Firebird. And those are a slightly more acquired taste, right?
On the car, you know, the cars back in the 60s and the 50s, they started to get wings on the back and, you know, all the old Cadillacs and all that stuff. I think they just went, oh, you know what? Look at how you hold it. You look at
this is a crazy guitar. Look, we've got crazy tuners.
Yeah, look at that.
The tuners are sort of mounted on the back of the headstock. I think they're called banjo tuners.
They look like the nipples. Look.
They do, look. You see Firebirds come in both, sometimes with the headstock this way around, sometimes the other way around, sometimes the body shape is reversed. But they all have this kind of center block, sort of raised section with the wings on the side. This is iconic, right? It's like almost that sort of Trans Am Pontiac kind of.
Oh, there he goes, yeah. I had a pot noodle, man. I keep burping. I'm sorry about it. It's really coming back to me.
Mini humbuckers. Where the neck joins the body is, I guess, a little bit kind of SG-like. It's further up, so it always feels like your left hand is, even though the scale length is the same, it feels like the guitar's shifted this way a little bit.
Every time I have feel that way.
Do you? Trem system is crazy. It's a Maestro trem system on here, which is pretty rudimentary. It's just a bent bit of metal.
I love that
as I wiggle it, hopefully returns to where it was before. Obviously, the Firebird one is just much simpler.
Yeah.
If you can rock one of these, you're the most badass player on the night.
Johnny
right?
Winter.
Anybody that rocks a Firebird, I think.
Yeah, I know. But how good is that trem system?
It does sound good, man.
It does.
That's no drive or anything on. So if I put a little bit of
mini humbuckers, man. There's something about a mini humbucker.
I've started using my amp now on the. I've taken the leaf out of yours, which is I've started pushing it so that there's always a tiny bit of hair. Like it's not so crystal clean anymore. But this is with a Dane.
I like when it's a little scratchy. You know,
yeah.
Like this.
It makes me want to do this with my head and feel like I'm in Lynyrd Skynyrd or something like that. It's just like, it's just such a crazy old... I mean, it's a little bit unwieldy. I wouldn't suggest this as your first guitar. But if you've
Unless you want to be really cool.
If you've got a few guitars, and you want to be super cool. That one, though, I mean, at least with this, I've got some pickups. I mean, I didn't even show you the... There you go. That's what it sounds like. That's like, you've got the big unwieldy guitar and nowhere to hide because you've just got a volume and a tone control.
All I got is...
in the opening jam, I just did everything on the volume and the tone control, and it is a thing. It does work.
It does. I mean, if I just, let's say I just get a bit of gain from the Dane, of course. And I turn down use the tone control. I think that goes for every one single pickup guitar that is out there. It's not about it's about this.
It's such a wicked looking guitar.
It's great,
so there's about a £300 price difference between the white one and the red one. Obviously the red one is the cheaper one of the two.
Yeah.
I must show you the case before we move on to the last guitar. I'm guessing the case for the Firebirds are substantially bigger than this one, but they're obviously done to look like the cases that you get with Gibson custom shop guitars.
They're slightly different also, because some of them are different than other ones. They've got like a different interior, but where's the blanket?
That you got to pay another £5,000 to
and
go
you don't
custom
even
shop.
to not get.
Anyway, look, there you go. So you get a nice case included in the price with all these guys. I gather they'll be rectangular, right? Rather than shaped.
Big squares, black squares.
But the rest of the guitar cases should be shaped like this one. Yeah. Okay, right, Mr. P, you can do the honours with the very last guitar, which is the 1964 SG.
Okay. We've got
now, of course, the SG is older than 1964, but 64 saw it come with the tremolo. The sort of the Maestro.
This is my favorite, one of my favorite trem systems because it's so simple.
And again, look how rich they've got the mahogany. That you would never know if you just put your finger over the Epiphone. You would never know that wasn't a Gibson.
If I'm like that,
it's got that beautiful dark red cherry with all the right mahogany grain showing through.
Yeah,
it's just nailed.
If you didn't have a Made in China sign, and they don't throw it in the bin.
I should say as well, before everybody starts chasing us with burning torches and pitchforks, there is still a more affordable Epiphone range that sits underneath this.
Oh, right,
so if you still want to buy
no.
If you still need to, if your budget is your sort of £500, £600 sort of mark, or maybe come probably a bit lower than that on things like the specials, you've still got all of your regular Epiphone, but they are like the fully Asian. So they'd have Epiphone pickups, the Epiphone headstock.
I don't know why, but I call this the nail because it's like. I mean, people will expect me to play some rock and roll on this, right? But then you got Derek Trucks, which is if you don't know Derek Trucks, an incredible song.
Robbie Krieger, wasn't he a SG guy? I mean, there's been lots of SG guys over the years. But you're right. As soon as you get one, it's like play some AC/DC.
As soon as you're like. That's all you want. What is it?
I heard an AC/DC tune on the way into the work this morning, which I've not heard before, called The Jack or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's literally a slow blues, like a really slow blues.
I know that one. And there's a new one from the newest album. It's like...
Oh, no.
It's like the
literally,
Captain's Lick,
it's just like... It's like...
And you go...
It's literally like that.
It's still a bit out of tune, but you would expect when they get it, but Gibson get it right.
It's so. Every last detail of these is perfect.
Even the
fact that G string is just a little bit.
And it is the G string anyway. I think this is the best upgrade I've seen on Epiphones for a long time. Yeah. And I think they've been going on like that kind of thing. And Al John, we love him, and he is really good at what he does. And he listens to us because
I've said this before, and I can probably say this now. But internally at Gibson, I know over the years Epiphone has been held back. Because it's like the people at Gibson were just like, no, don't make something that someone might buy instead of a Gibson. And it feels now they've just gone, don't hold Epiphone back anymore. Just make the best guitar that you can make. Yeah. And, if someone still wants the big G on the headstock, we all want the big G on the headstock, right? We're all going to get there.
I want a big D
one day. But I just think this is it. These Epiphones are spectacular.
Yeah, they are. And people will say out there, you will go, oh, that's expensive. But in my opinion, you get
it's all relative.
It's relative, man. You get a hard case. You
half
get
the price of a Gibson.
It's less than half a price for a custom shop.
Yeah, oh, wow, yeah. It's like
if you want one of these that's a custom shop, man, you're talking 3, 4, 5, yeah. So, so shut the up and just get on with it, man.
Come on, let's jam out with something that's maybe a little less jazzy and maybe a little more rocky, and then that'll be the end of our video. And there's links below, or you can come to the store and try all these, or you can buy them online. But yes, they are approved. Well done, Epiphone.
Andertons
approved.